So the Cleveland Browns have Deshaun Watson, who's DeAndre Hopkins' former teammate. And we know in the Houston Texans, they've made some big plays with each other. And that's probably the best quarterback that DeAndre Hopkins has ever played with. And I do think that they could reunite. We could be seeing that very soon. There's some reports that the Browns are trying to push for him just based off the fact that that'll help Deshaun Watson like a lot. And we could be digging into what they did on the Texans with each other. Like, let's touch on 2018. 2018 was a good year for them. So in 2018, Deshaun Watson, he threw for 4,165 yards with 26 touchdowns, which is pretty solid. That was his second year ever. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all may not believe this, but a lot of people should know this. 1,572 of those yards went to DeAndre Hopkins, and 11 of those touchdowns as well. So D-Hop was mainly the target for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was throwing it to D-Hop. He felt comfortable throwing it to D-Hop because D-Hop is that type of wide receiver where if you throw it to him, he's going to catch it, right? He's going to catch it. He's going to use his body to adjust to wherever the ball is. So that's why Deshaun Watson and him was so successful with each other, because Deshaun Watson, his abilities, it went well with DeAndre Hopkins' abilities. And I do think DeAndre Hopkins is still at that same level. He's just been dealing with some things. Same for Deshaun Watson. I think he could jump right back to that level next season. And yeah, I mean, and the thing about this wide receiver core, it has Amari Cooper, who's another good wide receiver. He's been putting up consistent stats throughout the years. Elijah Moore, who was in a messed up situation in the Jets, but I think he could shake back and he could have a good season finally. So if DeAndre Hopkins goes with them, now Deshaun Watson has 3 good targets, and they still got Nick Chubb, who's going to always dominate the rushing game, and they still have a top 3, top 5 offensive line. So it's looking very good there in Cleveland. Their defense is very good, so it's looking real good. So if DeAndre Hopkins is still the same player, I mean, he may not be literally the same, but he could still put up similar numbers. I mean, 700 yards in 9 games is very good, so it goes to show you he didn't really lose too much. And if Deshaun Watson could go back to his old self, which I think is going to happen, then it's going to be very scary, and his Browns team is going to be very scary. Now, I know they're in a packed division with the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Bengals. So it's a very packed division, but I do think they could get the job done. They have the defense. They have the O-line. Like, they have everything they need. They're just banking on Deshaun Watson to be that same player. And DeAndre Hopkins should sign with them. I mean, it's close contenders like the Bills and the Chiefs, who is serious threats, because the Kansas City Chiefs are coming off a year where they won the Super Bowl, and D-Hop does want a ring, so he might choose the Chiefs just because they just won a Super Bowl. Hey, I'm sorry for showing old clips, but yeah, man, the Browns, I'm sorry for showing old clips because it's kind of hard to find Browns clips, but the Browns are looking very scary. Like I said, man, they got Za'Darius Smith. Now, that's another one. Za'Darius Smith with Myles Garrett, and they got Siaki Ika. That's going to be crazy. Siaki Ika, the rookie, he's going to be on the D-line with Za'Darius Smith and Myles Garrett. So that's going to be a scary thing to see. And if they could add DeAndre Hopkins to their offense, it would just help them a lot. And Nick Chubb, man. Nick Chubb is just going to keep being Nick Chubb. I can't really see him getting washed anytime soon. He's a very good running back. And I really have high hopes for Elijah Moore. I'm going to make a video on how the Browns stole Elijah Moore. I'm definitely going to make a video on that because he's a very talented player. Like, I get his stats haven't been the best when it comes to yards, but when you watch the tape, he's a very talented player. And I think Deshaun Watson is going to do very good with these guys. And if they could add DeAndre Hopkins, that's going to make it even better and easier for Deshaun Watson. And I could see him bouncing back, maybe putting up a similar season to the 2018 one, 4,000 yards with maybe like 26 to 32 TDs with a good like 10 interceptions. That wouldn't be that bad as a bounce back year. And I think he's just going to keep on improving. I mean, now he has the off season to practice. He has OTAs and stuff. So he's going to keep on improving and getting better. And yeah, man. Now, I've done a Steelers video, and now this is going to be my second Browns video. So I have to do a video on the Ravens and the Bengals, right? But I just can't wait to see how this division goes, because the division is very competitive. You got the Browns, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens. I just can't wait to see who makes it out. Now, a lot of people probably thinking the Bengals is the favorites or the Ravens, but I see the Browns as a sleeper. They didn't have a bad year last year. It wasn't really that bad for the situation they was in. So I see them as a sleeper team to win the division. And it's not going to be easy. It's definitely not going to be easy. When you're in that division, it's definitely not going to be easy at all. But, I mean, if they do get DeAndre Hopkins, then shoot, I ain't going to lie. They're winning the division easy. Facts. But if they don't get him, they can still win it. But with DeAndre Hopkins, they definitely will win the division easy. All they need is for Deshaun Watson to just play as good as possible. And I forgot to even bring up David Njoku. Now, David Njoku is a very good player. He's a very good player. I like how he plays. He has insane hands. He has incredible hands, actually. So that's going to be interesting to see what he does with this new receiving core if they add D-Hop. But even if it's still a new receiving core, I got Elijah Moore. And I think he's going to have a better season than last season. And I just can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to see the Browns in action. I just want to see them play. But yeah, y'all gotta remember another thing. A lot of people forgot what Deshaun Watson was doing in his prime. And not only could he throw deep, not only does he have nice accuracy, he also could use his legs pretty well. He could run in for touchdowns, so he could fit the Browns offense pretty well, him and Nick Chubb. And that's something you just have to look out for. And his arm strength and the way he could break sacks and break tackles, that just makes him a lethal threat. He's a lethal dual threat. He's not that quick, but he could break tackles like a running back. He could break sacks. He could get out and extend the play. So don't forget what Deshaun Watson brings to the table when he's at his best, right? Now you mix that with some talented wide receivers. If you give this man a three-headed monster receiving core with Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, and DeAndre Hopkins, the Browns may make some serious noise. Now, I know the Browns is an unsuccessful franchise. I'm not trying to say that to be like throw shade or anything. It's honestly the truth. The Browns probably is not the most successful franchise, but it's always a beginning for something. I think that has nothing. There's no curses. All of that doesn't exist. And I do think the Browns could finally make some noise. I mean, they have all the weapons they need. I get the AFC is tough, but you just never know when it's your turn. And I do think they could do something this year. It's possible. It's very possible. Nothing's impossible. And with Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, and these wide receivers, and if they add D-Hop, that's even better. With this crazy defense and this very good offensive line, I mean, how can't they do good? They could at least make the playoffs. I do think they could win their division. Honestly, any team in that division could win the division. But I do think that the Browns could definitely really win their division. Like, they're one of the top teams that I have winning the division. I can't really see the Ravens. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I got the Browns winning the division, or at least coming in second. And yeah, man, it's my boy AJ Productions, and I'm out, man. Peace.